David Lee Roth joins us here on the Mitch Albom Show. Hi, David.
Hey.
You know, every time we talk to you, I always am tempted to say, have you gotten tired yet? Because I just read about sort of the life you lead and the places you go and the way you lead. And I say, well, there's going to be one day where he's just not going to get up in the morning and he's just going to say, I'm tired. I've lived 10 lives in one lifetime, and I'm going to stay in bed for the next 9 months.
You know what? You have a good point there. It's a good question, or a good illumination, at least. I think that if a lot of artists, you know, if you ask me, so Dave, what's in the future for the record, for the touring or whatever? I go, I don't know, and I don't care. I'm old enough to know there may not be a tomorrow, Mitch. So I sure can't change my past.
No, that kind of goes with you, doesn't it?
Well, if you consider that you can't change one and the other is unmovable, then you can dwell on right where we are right now and make the very most of that.
Now, have any of your philosophies of life changed from the days of Van Halen and that kind of rock and roll thing? I know, for example, you were always vehemently against getting married. Does that still hold up?
I'm not against marriage, and I never have been against marriage. I'm just like you. I'm actually interested more, not so much in Miss Right as in Miss Right Now. On the other hand...
Wait a minute, what's with this? I'm just like you
my Miss Right Now.
wait, where did that... let's go back a sentence here. Where did that I'm just like you thing come from, Kimosabi?
From your first opening line to this interview.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, just like, don't make any assumptions. I want the audience to say, yeah, Mitch, David Lee Roth, same guy, you know. Miss Right Now, huh?
I was just going off your first riff, bro. Count it off again. I guess I missed it. You know what? Marriage is not a big issue. I've had some great romances here, and with, you know, just very regular people, not the Swedish supermodel who's purging the cracker she ate last week, you know, and not the rock and roll groupie with you know, 67,000 on her miles on her and counting. It's always been just the classic girl next door, what have you.
Wait a minute, how can David Lee Roth kind of date the girl next door? Doesn't the girl next door stop being the girl next door as soon as she starts going out with David Lee Roth?
Well, you know what? I don't hang in traditional places. I just spent 2 weeks with a girlfriend living out of the back of a Econoline van climbing in Colorado. Now, I'm speaking to you now from the fabulous Mojo Dojo here in Los Angeles, and this is the opposite of an Econoline van.
Yeah.
I'm equally at ease in both. Hey, I started off in the engine room. And after a while, I learned all the tricks on the boat, and now they let me drive, so to speak. But I'm most comfortable downstairs. You know that scene in Titanic when they're dancing downstairs?
Right.
Count me in.
Oh, you're in the room with all the steerage passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. You're not the
tuxedo
tuxedo
guy. Well, I'm a card-carrying member of How Did Faulkner Write It? The Great Unwashed. That's exactly where I come from.
We're talking, if you couldn't tell, with David Lee Roth here on the Mitch Albom Show. You mentioned that kind of you're running through the typical girlfriend of rock star routine, and it's probably hard for anyone listening to imagine this, but I always thought that this probably could happen, and this only proves that anything could happen, that if you're a rock star for long enough, and there are enough of these girls that show up backstage night after night, the supermodel type, the groupie type, that you actually can get tired of that. Now, is that humanly possible?
You know what? Most people in the music industry prance through the opening salutations like Lipizzaner stallions, right? Hey, how are you? You look great. How you been? And everything. And then it goes as flat as sunlit soda pop, man.
Nothing else to talk about.
Give me Rosie O'Donnell any day of the week. Can you dig? Give me little Arlene Resendez from around the corner who owns the Mexican restaurant. And we can certainly make the country western song out of it, if nothing else. You know, a lot of musicians really don't have anything that they do outside of the music.
Right.
What? I always thought rock and roll was a passport. Get out of town. Everybody loves this kind of music.
Well,
right?
You've used it for that, and that's one of the things I've admired about the way you've handled it. Every time I look up, you're in like Tanzania or Chile or someplace climbing some rock or going out there. You're not at the Viper Room every night.
No, and I always, you know, it started off as a determination as simple as that page in a magazine in the dentist office waiting area. I'm actually going to go there. But you know what? I think the greatest adventures have happened to me at exactly sea level just here in my own backyard. Man, I've won $1 million, and then I lost it, and then I won $1 million back, and then somebody stole it, and then I won it back, and then I spent it on a stripper from Dallas.
$1 million?
Oh, that was a hell of a summer.
Yeah. And that was all in one summer.
Oh, hell yeah. Nothing but yeah.
Talking to David Lee Roth here on the Mitch Albom Show.
David, I got to ask you, the last we heard about your involvement with Van Halen was for that Greatest Hits album.
Oh, my God.
It didn't work
failing
out.
of Van Halen. If Don King was in charge, that's what he would have called it.
You don't stay in touch
You know what?
with them?
I've been to the edge. I stood and looked down to the bottom of the down. Yeah, that's Sammy Hagar, isn't it?
Yeah. It didn't work out, huh? That brief reunion in
Oh,
96?
come on. You know what? You see the difference in attitude here. You know, I haven't changed.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no arrested development here, but I do realize at this tender point in my life that my inner child wants to go to a barbecue with you. And, you know, if life is a marathon, how do you tell who won, really? Well, if you finished up with a smile, you won. The Van Halens are not very happy people, you know?
Well, so what made you think it would work when you tried it back in 96 for a little Greatest Hits thing?
Guys like me who are honest and legitimately of good spirit are easy to fool. You know, even though I've got a lot of time on the water, so to speak, you know, when you're an imbecile, you think the whole rest of the world's probably an imbecile. When you're honest and you think that people are generally good, as I do, then you're a little easier to fool. And so I guess I'm fortunate and unfortunate in some respects. And it didn't turn out to be. I do my music for the purest reasons, and that is the joy of it and the smiles that come from it, you know? And the money, like I said, there's nothing but another drinking story. Hey, let me tell you about the one in Houston.
So you're not going to ever try that again, then? You and Van Halen?
Oh, I never say never. You know, I think that's probably a foolish move. You know, never. I can't even tell you what's going to be a week from now, realistically. But, you know, with what I'm doing here on the show, geez, our second show in Finland just climbed to 40,000 tickets based on the show last week.
Wow.
I haven't done any publicity in Scandinavia. All we did was play it once. And I'm playing the greatest smashing hits from when I was quarterback of the now defunct Van Halen and stuff like, you know, not California Girls, Yankee Rose. It's drums, guitars, bikinis, and fast cars. And when you hear these songs back to back, sung by the voice and the guy who forged them originally, oh my God, you're going to get a tear in your eye.
So you have no problem doing Van Halen material?
Are you kidding? If Beethoven came back tomorrow and he said, hey, if I wrote the best symphony I ever wrote, you go, whoa, wait, Beethoven, can you still play da-da-da-da? And if the Rolling Stones come back, do we care what the Rolling Stones play tomorrow? No, we want to hear Brown Sugar.
Yeah, that's true.
And when Diamond Dave takes the stage, wild-eyed and ready to ride, you want to ride to Panama and you want to hear about the beautiful girls he saw in there and see if you still jump. Do you see that? That's what you want. That's what I want. I could care less about day after tomorrow.
You don't feel entrapped by your past then, huh?
Are you kidding? That's like the biggest Christmas present, and I'm still driving it around. I'm one of maybe a dozen people on the face of Earth alive who really have more than 5, 10, 15 songs like that. Oh, man. I've inherited an entire tropical island. That's how I picture it. Some people really strain behind this. You know, oh, no, I've got to forge into the future or whatnot. Hey, you know what? You're missing the right now.
Our guest is rocker David Lee Roth. Hey, I didn't realize that Gene Simmons from Kiss found you guys originally.
He was one of the guys who showed up when we were playing the beer bar circuit. We were doing 5 45-minute sets a night, and the word was getting around. But a lot of musicians, I'm sure you've heard it in passage, are always lamenting. Geez, my agent screwed it. Oh, my manager ruined me. Oh, the record coming. Right. You know what? You can't keep blaming other people for your own disasters. Yeah. And I knew that early on instinctively. We never made a demo tape. We never made a video or a film to send around. I said early on, hey, if we're that hot, then people will show up. And if we're not, they will not.
And one of the people who showed up was Gene Simmons from Kiss? I just thought it would be weird to go through life feeling indebted to Gene Simmons from Kiss. You know?
I don't at all. Nothing really came out of it aside from him trying to steal the guitar player for his band.
Oh, okay. Because I actually had a little incident with Gene Simmons from Kiss once way back. He wanted me to write a book with him about all the women he'd slept with. And
you went to see him?
Yeah, I went out to see him in his house in Beverly Hills, and he was sure this was going to be a big bestseller, and he claimed that he'd slept with like 20,000 women, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm due back on the planet Earth now. I have to leave. And
anything when it turns into those kinds of numbers, no. One solid night with a Rosie O'Donnell or a Madonna.
You keep bringing up Rosie O'Donnell. What's the deal with Rosie O'Donnell?
Hey, man, you know what the best aphrodisiac? A sense of humor and good energy. I don't have the bone structure for handsome, okay? Those of us down here in steerage, baby.
Okay. Well, as you can see, David Lee Roth has lost none of his charm, energy, or
No.
youthful zest.
Mitch, thank you very much.
Good
Thank
talking to
you.
you, as always. David Lee Roth here on the Mitch Albom Show.
Album Monday weekend with Mitch Albom. Album Monday weekend and Ken and Rachel. Album Monday weekend. Album.
Each year, it's estimated that